Good morning to you, Saroo.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. It is a remarkable tale that you have to tell, and now it's been turned into this Hollywood film. We just saw a little glimpse of the story and of the film there. But tell us, as a 5-year-old, what was that moment like when you suddenly realised you'd lost your brother and you were thousands of miles away from your village?
It was absolutely terrifying, and I could remember it right now so vividly. You know, I got off the train and I was just swamped up in so many people that were trying to get there to the platform of the Harrow train station. I went on my knees and cried, and all I wanted was just, you know, my mother and my brother, and just basically salvation and solace. But, you know, no one would answer my call. And I would have to say it was one of the most frightening, alienating time of my life.
It's absolutely extraordinary. There you were, a little boy, just 5 years old, so vulnerable, ending up so far away from home and unable to tell people or explain that you'd got on a train and mum was, you know, waiting for you at home. For 25 years, you were separated from your mum. You were adopted by this Australian family. Just explain the search. How did you, from that moment, did you want to find your family, or did you sort of accept that you weren't going to see mum again? What point did you start using Google Earth to track the landmarks that you could remember from your 5-year-old life?
I think, you know, the feeling of, you know, all the memories that I had and the psychological scarrings that I had from being in India and the trials and tribulations that I went through, they always, they sustained within me. And there was sort of memories that I really didn't want to let go, because if I had let go of those memories, then I would have would have forgotten about my identity and everything that happened to myself in the past. But in sort of my latter years of my sort of teenage and going into my adulthood, this sort of beacon within me sort of became more prominent, and so, you know, I wanted to do something about it, and you know, took acknowledgement, and so that's when I sort of executed and asked myself, you know, it's been, these weights on your shoulders have been there for such a long time. What does it mean? What does your dreams mean? What does this gut feeling mean? And that's when I decided to, you know, put the two together and execute this plan of trying to find my family that I had lost. And you know, I think Google Earth was such an amazing tool, because pretty much it was the catalyst, I guess, of finding my family.
But it must have been, or it clearly is, like finding a needle in a haystack, going into Calcutta Station and then slowly working through every train line coming out of Calcutta Station till you eventually found a landmark that you remembered as a 5-year-old. I mean, it's just remarkable. You did do that, though, Saroo, and what was that moment like when you walked back into your village to find your mother, who you still didn't know whether she would be there?
That's right. You know, I think, you know, ultimately I just wanted to go back to my town, take my shoes off and just walk the streets that I used to. But, you know, there's always that sort of inner feeling of doing that extra bit, not knowing the consequences, if they're going to be there or not. But, you know, I took the bull by the horn and just, my feet just went auto mode, and I was standing in front of the house that I was born in, and before long I'm looking at, you know, the lady, my mother, that I've sort of been distanced and lost for 25 years, and we're both looking at each other, and I'm in tears and she's in tears, and all I could think of is that I've been searching for you for 25 years, and I did it because, you know, the love between me, my sister and you was so strong, and the feeling of wanting to know whether you're still alive and still safe, and my sister's still alive and safe, and if she's been sort of eating or not. You know, the yearning's been there for such a long time, but I used Google Earth, I used my mind, I opened my mind, and I autonomously transcended.
Well, it's an extraordinary story, Saroo, and we appreciate you talking to us this morning. It's been turned into this film, Lion, with Dev Patel playing your part as an adult. And I know his mum didn't leave the village for 25 years, hoping that one day he would come back. And he did.
It's extraordinary. Saroo, thank you very, very much for joining us and sharing your story. I can't wait to read this book and then see the film as well. It doesn't seem real, does it? It doesn't seem real that through that power of the internet that he was able to trace his memories as a 5-year-old.